I've got a question for you, and I'm sincerely asking for advice on this. Having just celebrated Easter weekend with my in-laws, at least portions of the weekend, I've had a lot of time to think about what Easter means to me and what I want it to mean for my kids. I think you probably already know where I'm going with this, and yes, I am going to pick on the Easter Bunny and the eggs and the candy and the baskets. We could throw Christmas in there too, because it's no exception to the rule. There's plenty of add-ons from the secular world that have nothing to do with Jesus. And that is getting to be more and more a problem for me the older I get. I've investigated the origins of all this stuff, and there is some controversy over the research I've done. I've gotten a couple of different answers, and so I'll put it to you like this. At best, these are secular add-ons that have nothing to do with Jesus, that somehow got mixed into the tradition of the Christian faith, and maybe they're harmless, maybe they're not. At worst, these are intentional mixes of old pagan religions, as pagan converts were becoming Christians in the early 1st century. But in either scenario, for me, there's a reason to make a change. Problem is, it makes me a hypocrite to want to enforce this change in my own home, because I celebrated these two holidays throughout my childhood and had an awesome, fun time hunting Easter eggs and running down the stairs. Well, there weren't stairs. I'm thinking of the house I'm in now. But just getting excited as a child about this delivery that was going to come while I was sleeping in my bed. And what was it that the Easter Bunny was going to bring me this year? And what was it that Santa would... Well, was I good enough? And if I was good enough, is he going to give me what I asked for? Or maybe I wasn't good enough for what I asked for, but maybe something similar. My mind as a child was focused primarily on these add-ons. Going to church for the Christmas Eve service was a chore. And we didn't go to a ton of Easter services because primarily we were out in the East Texas woods, and we just kind of celebrated Christ with my granny going around and telling us that he is risen, and our response was to be, he is risen indeed. That was in between Cadbury eggs, of course. So you got the hypocrisy side of this thing. If for me to make a change would be basically to deprive my children of the same kind of experience that I had growing up. Then you got the how important is this issue anyway? Am I being too dogmatic and legalist in these tendencies? And am I enforcing my issues onto my children and onto my wife and onto my aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody else? Jim doesn't like this, so none of us can have an Easter basket. So as much as I'd like to change things, it doesn't benefit me to want to change if no one else does. And it doesn't benefit me if I'm overreacting, and it doesn't benefit me if I'm being a hypocrite. And all of the above are possible. So, I'm asking you, what are your thoughts on this topic? And what do you do for Easter? What do you do for Christmas? How do you make it about Christ and Christ alone? Or do you somehow figure out a way to properly blend and mix this secular pagan type tradition into the observance of Christ? Testing 1 and 2 and 3. Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone.